G'day everyone. Today I'm going to explain to you another piece of work that you can do for school. We're looking at doing a frottage, a collage and a montages. So they're what I call my three ages. A frottage is where you take rubbings and you put them together to create a piece of work. A montage is where you take at least two pictures and put them together to create another piece of work. So for example, this one here, this person has done it digitally. They've got a camera as a picture and then they've cut out another picture digitally and put them together to make sure that one works. And then the next one is what's called a collage. Now this person has done the collage. They've got magazines and cut them up and created a piece of work. But I'll explain a little bit more about that later. So you're going to create what we call the three ages, and then you're going to create another practical piece so that you are doing a collage about yourself. So when you're talking about doing a collage about yourself, that's getting anything at all that you can beg, borrow and steal without getting in trouble for and putting it together. So my students actually made a little wooden frame and they stretched a canvas over it. And if you can do that, that's fine. Another thing you could do is I've had a student grab a pair of thongs, and old thongs that you put on your feet, and they collaged a pair of thongs and it represented themselves as well. Now before you start to make your pieces, it's a really good idea to find out what artists are doing in regards to these three techniques. So I'm going to attach a document to this YouTube clip or folder for you to fill in. So what I want you to do is I want you to insert an image that is done from another particular artist in relation to a frottage. Make sure you include the website, the name of the piece, the name of the artist, the medium that they're using, and the year it was made. But wait, I can hear you saying what's the medium. Now when you talk about mediums in art, they're the things that you use, the materials that you use to create your piece of work. So if you were doing a drawing with a lead pencil, the medium you've used is pencil. If you were doing a painting with paint and acrylic paint, the medium would be acrylic paint. So I'd like you to list that in. What I'd then like you to do is answer some questions about your particular medium, the technique that you're doing. So is there a particular emotion attached to your selected piece, and discuss this. So when you look at the artwork that you're doing, how does it make you feel? How does it make other people feel? You might find information that's been written about the work that could explain what that emotion is. The next question is, what particular audience should this piece have? So where do you think the piece would be hung? Who do you think would purchase it? And you need to discuss that as well. Does the piece relay a particular story or concept? So are they trying to say something about the work? Is it about what's happening at their times? Is it about something that's happened in their life? Are they talking about consumerism? And you can have a look at what sort of story that they're trying to say. The fourth question is, you need to evaluate your own the piece with your own opinion. Do you like the piece? Do you not like the piece? Can you tell me why? The other thing you should probably start to introduce at this level is your elements and principles of art. So if the piece has a strong color, you talk about color, which is an element of art. When you're answering these questions at this level, when it says you need to discuss your response, you need to give more than a one-word answer. So do you like this piece? Yes. That's not enough. So you need to say yes, and you need to explain. What particular audience should the piece have? I'd probably put it in an office. Explain. Why would you be doing that? So you're going to do this 3 times. One is for the frottage. The next is for the collage. And the third one, you guessed it, is for a montage. So like I said, there's a research task for this piece, and I will attach the 2 documents for it. The first document is the one where it's at level. The second one is a modified version of that. So you can have a look at that at this particular time and decide which one you think you're capable of doing. It's very similar, but it has a layout is a little bit different, and it has a few more little tips and hints for you to do your work. So it's still the same thing. You're still looking at your 3 arches. You need to insert an image. So you copy and paste a picture of the internet and put it into here. You need to copy the web address, and these are all little bits of information that are included in the document. You need to include the name of the piece, the name of the artist, the medium. And again, the medium is what did the artist use to make this particular artwork, the year it was made, and evaluate the piece as well. And then you can write a couple of suggestions about what you think of the piece. Now, what can sometimes happen with either of the tasks is you get started on a piece of work and then you turn around and go, Mrs. Herbert, I can't find this information. Okay, one thing is fine, but if you can't find 3 or 4 bits of this information, my suggestion would be go and find another piece of work in which you can analyse. Now, when you're collecting your frottages, you could go for a walk outside, and I've just grabbed some scrap paper out of the art room, which you can use. You don't have to work on white paper, you can work on newspaper or you can work on coloured paper. Then you just take a crayon. Oh, look at that. And you collect your frottage. So you do a rubbing, and then what you're going to do is take that back into the room, and then you can create a piece of work. Okay, so I've just turned around and I found another really cool texture. So I'm putting my paper up over that surface and I'm doing a rubbing on the top of that, and that's called your frottage as well. So you don't just have to do it in one colour, you can do it in more than one colour. Like if you could do a collection of autumn colours, so orange, yellow, brown, you can do it on coloured paper, as I've said, and that can create a little more interest as well. So I'll come back into the room and you've got my collection of frottages. So you can tear them, because when you tear your paper, you can create a really interesting and beautiful edge. So think about that one. The other thing you can do is you can cut out shapes. You might want to have a bit of plan as to what you want to do. Now you can always go and collect more frottages. And don't forget, again, if you're wanting to work on a coloured background, you could think about doing that if you have coloured paper. So I want to show you some examples of some students' work. This one here is done by a fellow. So you can see they've gone and collected frottages and they've cut that out and they've stuck it on a nice purple background, so their presentation is also being considered. And you can see here he's added a little bit of a drawing, which is quite clever. Now, when I was talking about doing a collection of colours when you're doing your frottages, this person here has chosen a couple of different greens and a little bit of a bluey green as well. Also considered coloured paper in their presentation. Now, I like this one. You'll find I like a lot of them. This one, they've actually done their frottages in yellow and purple, and then they've cut it out and layered it, and then they've actually added little teardrops because it relates it to the eye. Is it a perfect looking eye? No, it's not. It's a little outside the box, which I think is great as well. Now, here's another one. This young person has collected frottages using a colour scheme of blue, and you can see that they've actually stuck it all on and then they've cut out the shape itself.
Just go from where you were at.
So this one is another example. So they've collected all the frottages with different blues, then they've pasted it all together, then they've drawn their wave on. It's simple, but it is very effective. Another one you're going to be doing is a collage. Now, a collage, like I've said before, is anything you can beg, borrow and steal that you can collect and stick onto a piece of work. For example, when I was at school, I actually cut off some of my hair and collaged my hair to a piece of work, which is a bit creepy, but it was kind of effective for where I used it. Now, you are very welcome to use magazines. You are very welcome to use newspapers. But here I hear you saying, I don't have this and I don't have that. If you have these sort of things laying around, you're welcome to use that. But if you're able to use digital world and use an app or a program in which you can cut and crop out your pictures and stick them together so that works, you're very welcome to do that. I'm not good at that, but that doesn't stop you from doing that. So I've got some examples to show you again. This young person here has done, I'm actually feeling the work as I'm showing you to let you know. So she's actually got online and she's got lots of pictures of cakes and she's put that together so that her piece of work is in the shape of the cake as well as outlining it with some sort of drawing marker. This one, again, a collection of surfing magazines. It was like the frottage of the wave. So she's tried to create a little bit of unity in her work, having a painting, a surfing theme. They've collected magazines, she's put them all together and then she's cut them out. Again, it's a very simple shape, but it is very effective in how it's all put together. This is quite a clever one. So this one here is a portrait, and what they've done is they've collected and used portraits from magazines, and then they've cut them all out and put them all together. I like that one. Now in this one here, I really like the layers that they've created. So here they've got magazines that they've cut and pasted in the background. I actually have to feel this one again. They've got some, probably a page out of a book, I think it is. And then they've got another piece that they've probably got off the internet and stuck that all together. This one here, coloured paper is what they've used. They've cut it all out and put it all together to create a hamburger. So their collage medium that they've used is coloured paper. So montages is probably one of my favourite techniques again. So your montage is cutting out a picture and then sticking it into another picture so that they work. So in this montage you can see all the kids jumping out of the boat and then they're ready to meet an alligator. This one here is a montage, and what they've got is a surfing theme again, and they've got an ocean in the background with a surfboard that they've put on there, and then the giraffe is surfing on the surfboard. Another one is this one here. They've created as a montage. They've done this one digitally, and then they've put the jewelry onto the face of the person. Okay, so now we're talking about your final assessments piece. So you've made your 3 arches, a collage, a montage, and a frottage. And then I'd like you to create a collage on another piece, another surface, and this is to be about you. So these are things that you like to do, things that you're interested in. Now, it kind of seems like an easy little task, but when you actually come to be doing a piece that's only A5 or approximately that size, it becomes a little bit difficult because you've got to think about what you want to put in and then what you want to take out. Now, when I was talking before, you are also welcome to not collage on a little canvas or piece of wood. I have had a student collage on a pair of thongs, which I thought was interesting. As long as you're doing a collage, as long as you're sticking items on there and it's not a flat surface, as long as it's about you, could be a winner.